Stamping your feet. He's a local boy. He's not a Janner. We discovered from the first month because he was born in Wolverhampton or somewhere, was it? Yeah, so he's not a Janner. Where? Hertfordshire. So he's not officially a Janner. You have to be born a Janner. Because I'm living down here now. I'm not officially a Janner. I don't know. We were just talking at the bar with Omar if there's some sort of ceremony that you have to go through to become a Janner. I don't know if that, I've not found out yet. But yes. Please, we're going to start the applause in the front. We want the applause to hit the back of the room, come back again, and I want you to go mad and go crazy for your first act of the night for Mr. Richard James. Go mad!
Hello, hello. Everyone enjoying this wonderful weather at the moment?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do a bit of topical comedy. I'm not liking it. Hate it. I'm sweating like a 70s TV presenter who's just seen the police coming up his driveway. It's horrible. I do not like hot weather at all. I can't wear shorts because if I do, it looks like 2 sticks of chalk have been stabbed into a potato, so I can't avoid that look. But anyway, that's enough of the topical stuff. I'm going to talk to you tonight about names. I'm fascinated by names, especially surnames. I find them very interesting. Do you know that many surnames originally come from job titles? Smiths were metal workers, Coopers made barrels, Wainwrights made wagons, and Fletchers used to put the feathers onto arrows. But you couldn't do that nowadays. You won't want to be named after your job now, because most job titles are ridiculous. They're full of too much jargon, and they all have delusions of grandeur. Here are 3 modern job titles that I think are just ridiculous. See if anyone can guess what they are. First off, we'll start with an easy one. It's a beverage dissemination officer. Does anyone know what that is? Barman. Congratulations, 10 points, and points mean nothing. Secondly, it's another one, here we go. It's a frontline customer support facilitator. Does anyone know what that is? It's a call centre worker, but I would have accepted nuisance as well. And last but by no means least, my personal favourite, a gastronomical hygiene technician. Does anyone know what that is? It sounds technical. I couldn't understand any of the words.
Subway sandwich.
Well, no, it's actually the highly technical job of a dishwasher. Now, they will never be surnames for the simple reason, I'm going to move this, for the simple reason that if they were, it would mean that weddings would take even longer. Can you imagine it? Do you, Mary, frontline customer support facilitator, take John, gastronomical hygiene technician, to live together in holy wedded matrimony? Sorry, what was the question again? I completely lost focus. It just wouldn't work. Besides, I wouldn't want to be named after my job because I don't believe that a job defines you as a person. You are not what you do unless you're a politician or a traffic warden, in which case you are an arsehole. Yeah, boozer leaders and traffic wardens.
And a council leader.
Yes, them as well. Yeah, let's start a revolution. Oh my God, it's turned into a rally. What have I done? Of course, Native Americans had a very different system for choosing names. They would name their kids after the first thing that was seen after the child was born. So they ended up with quite cool and interesting names like Yellow Cloud, Jumping Eagle, and Sitting Bull. But we couldn't do that though, for the simple reason that if we did, most, if not all kids, would be named after things that you see in a hospital. We'd have a whole generation of kids with names like Waiting List, Hand Sanitizer, Grumpy Nurse, and Dead Pensioner in Corridor. And no one would want to call their kids that. Well, I say no one. There is actually one group in our society who aren't afraid to give their kids ridiculous names that cause shame and ridicule amongst any other normal, fully functioning human being. And that group is, of course, celebrities. And I can't help but feel that some of the names that celebrities choose to give their kids should count as child cruelty. Maybe not Joseph Fritzl, Jimmy Savile level child cruelty. But cruelty is cruelty nonetheless. Chris Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow named their kid Apple. Bob Geldof named one of his daughters Fifi Trixabel. He also called another one Peaches. So I was thinking, oh, it'd be nice if Apple and Peaches got married because they'd make a lovely pair. But my favourite one is Frank Zappa, because he decided to call 2 of his kids Moon Unit and Diva Muffin. And that's sinking a little. Now, I know these kids are never going to go to a normal school. They're going to go to one of these like posh rich kids school where everyone has a stupid name. But imagine the hell you would have gone through if you went to an ordinary comprehensive and your name was Moon Unit. I don't think you would have had a good time. The one advantage, though, of having such an unusual name is that unlike us with our common names, they're never going to have to experience that horrible moment when you're walking along in a public place and someone shouts out your name, but they don't mean you. This happened to me recently. It's going to sound quite cliche, but I was actually at a railway station, walking along, and I heard a woman behind me shout, "Richard, That was her voice, lovely voice. And I turned around, and there was this beautiful woman running towards me. Not as beautiful as my girlfriend, over there. She had long, flowing hair, luscious lips, and these big, beautiful, round eyes. Right at me, I was so excited. I saw her coming closer and closer and closer until suddenly she ran past me right into the arms of another man, not John Wayne, another man who also happened to be called Richard. I was crestfallen. But if you're called Moon Unit, it's very unlikely you're ever going to be in a busy place, someone's going to shout out your name and not mean you. The only exception I could imagine would be if she got a job at NASA, in which case there would be hilarious misunderstandings on a frequent basis. And I think I'll leave you with this final bit now, because another trend that celebrities started was the idea of naming their kid after the place that it was conceived. Of course, it was Posh and Bex that started this peculiar fad, naming their child Brooklyn after somewhere in New York. And it pains me to admit this, but some members of my family are actually quite influenced by this trend. And I've got my little cousins, Grimsby Travel Lodge, lovely little boy. And then there's this beautiful, angelic, darling little sister, alleyway behind Lidl. But hey, what can I say? Outside of the family, but all the class. Anyway, thank you for coming out to Plymouth Comedy Avengers, and I shall hand you back to David.